Hey everyone, welcome to another Pokemon Productions review, and this time I have got something drastically different for you guys this time. This will be the first game in this franchise that I will be looking at. And yes, the title of the video isn't lying. Today, I'm going to be reviewing Resident Evil 4. That was a good impression there. So yeah, I'm going to be covering the 2005 classic Resident Evil 4. A game that is generally regarded as one of the best video games of all time. And if you're asking me that question, I wouldn't say it's one of the best games ever made. I certainly don't think it is. I mean, the controls and the graphics, especially for the PS2, have dated quite a bit. But it's alright. I can see how influential it was for games going forward. This basically invented the third-person shooter genre, and it was the first game, just in general, to use that over-the-shoulder camera angle where you actually see over the player. So let us read the back of the box. It's another Platinum Series title, a bit like Crash Bandicoot, Wrath of Cortex, and Crash Nitro Kart. Let's see what it says. The ultimate horror. Leon S. Kennedy survived the zombie outbreak in Raccoon City 6 years ago. Now he must rescue the president's daughter from a sinister village in Central Europe and face an enemy quicker, smarter, and scarier than any zombie. The ultimate horror. More action, more epic, more fear than ever before. New story. Play 5 action-packed scenarios exclusive to PlayStation 2 as Ada, the assassin shadowing Leon. New gameplay. Find and unlock new weapons and costumes that change the way you confront your fears. New insight. Discover the secrets of the new Resident Evil world in Ada's report, an exclusive in-game multi-chapter document detailing all you'll need to know. New survival action. Forget survival horror. This is Resident Evil redefined with more menacing enemies, intuitive controls, and intense action-packed gameplay. Now, this is actually the first officially licensed horror game I've ever played, but I didn't exactly find it that scary. Maybe because it was released so long ago, or maybe it's because it was more focused on a bit of action, because there is a lot of action in the game. So yeah, it does focus on Leon S. Kennedy, who made his debut in Resident Evil 2 in 1998, and that was of course the big zombie outbreak in Raccoon City, and now he went from the Raccoon City Police Department to the Secret Service, because he's now working for the president, and he goes to this village in Central Europe, and the villagers just start attacking him. Like, they're attacking him with axes, with hatchets, pitchforks, and there's this guy with a chainsaw who was really difficult to kill, and he kills you in one hit. Ugh. But yeah, this is my first Resident Evil experience, so I was familiar with the story, so I knew what to happen. I mean, the Umbrella Corporation is, from the first 3 games, is practically non-existent now, because stocks crashed. And so it turns out Leon is facing a new enemy, a cult, a religious fanatical cult called Los Illuminados. And one of its members and its leader, Osmond Sadler, infected him with this parasite called Las Plagas, which is actually what's causing all the villagers to go hostile. In fact, sometimes when you actually blow off their heads, you can actually see the parasite just leaching out of this body, and it's a bit disturbing. But that doesn't mean it wasn't fun to play. And of course, Leon meets some people along the way. Like, he meets the suave, so-called ladies' man, Luis Serra, who actually used to work for Umbrella, but then he basically turned on them and wants to redeem himself. And of course, we meet the president's daughter, Ashley Graham, who we have to keep safe throughout the whole thing. And if she's killed, or if she's dragged off by enemies too far away, then it's all over. It's all over. And yeah, the escort mission can be a bit tiring. I mean, Ashley I mean, and it actually screams and cries for help can get a bit annoying from time to time, but it was okay. It was okay for me, really. And of course, we meet Ada Wong, an assassin who is actually familiar with Leon. I think they met together in I think they met in Resident Evil 2 as well. And of course, we have all the villains as well, like Sadler, the leader of the cult, as well as his main henchmen, Ramon Salazar and Bitores Mendez, who both of whom actually give some pretty decent boss fights. And of course, we've got all the enemies around. It basically invented the third-person shooter genre. Like, you hold the R1 button on the PS2 controller and then press the X button to shoot. Or if you're using the knife, you slash enemies. You hold L1 and then press the X button. The thing with these enemies is, if you shoot them down, it's not exactly likely they'll be down first time. So the best thing to do is, if you get them down and they're not moving, just slash away at them, because chances are they may rise again. That's something. And there's also this guy called the Merchant, where you can actually buy stuff from him, like weapons, attachments, healing stuff like first aid sprays. Pretty cool. You can also sell him a few things to get the game's currency, which is called placentas. Yeah, there's a lot of, you can find them anywhere, like in these crates, and they sometimes drop by enemies. Overall, though, I find Resident Evil 4 to be quite a good experience. I mean, it wasn't exactly scary. It wasn't exactly scary, but it did provide a lot of thrills. And I think its scariness, its fear factor, is how suspenseful it can get. I mean, there were loads of enemy encounters that really were quite intense, especially with the chainsaw guys. And there was this one segment where you play as Ashley, who can't attack, and you have to get past all these knights, like these Plagas infected knights, like suits of armor. That was pretty intense, and you're in the dark. So but yeah, all in all, I will say it right now, Resident Evil 4, such a good game. It's a brilliant game. I wouldn't call it one of the best ever made, but it's certainly a good game. And I highly recommend it for anybody out there who is a fan of third-person shooters or is a Resident Evil fan in general. And yes, this is the original Resident Evil 4 game. I actually got this first. I haven't got the remake that came out earlier this year. But who knows? Since I've beaten Resident Evil 4, I've actually got the separate campaigns like Assignment Ada and Separate Ways, and of course the Mercenaries mode to go through. And I think there's a new game plus as well with all these different difficulty enhancements. But there's also the Resident Evil 4 remake that since I enjoyed this game, I might as well get my hands on that if I find the time. But what do you guys think? Do you guys think I should get the Resident Evil 4 remake? Do you like Resident Evil 4 the original? Do you want me to cover any other Resident Evil games on the channel? Let me know down in the comments. And as always, have a good day. See you next time.